Hello, my name is Doug Bishop, and I'm here with my guest and wife and local historian and writer, Molly Cruzen Bishop. Molly, thanks for joining me.
Hi.
And Molly will be joining me as we both worked on reviewing both of our families back in Ancestry.com and just kind of searching back our family lines. And so Molly, I know we went over my dad's and my mom's, but let's focus on my mom's side just because we have a little more information on that. But we can go over my dad's briefly as well. But how many generations were we able to go back?
Around 6 to 8, depending on which branch of the family.
Okay.
We'll start with the Bishops, since that's your namesake. Bella Bishop is actually our grandchild, so
Yep.
that's a generation. That's the youngest. Her mother and father and our other children are another generation. Doug and his siblings and then I together, another generation. And then we have your parents, Tom Bishop and Kay Bendrick Bishop. Tom's parents are Mary Ellen Grant and Thomas Bishop. Mary Ellen Grant's parents are Mamie and Lou Grant. Tom Bishop's parents are Martha and Thomas Shelley Bishop. And then we go to your mother.
Okay.
Kay Bendrick, her mother and father are Vivian Jackson, whose parents are Vivian Jackson's parents are Raymond and Rhoda Jackson, and her husband Ray, which is your grandfather,
Yep.
is Raymond Bendrick, and we're going to go through his line.
Okay.
His parents are Vincent Bendrick and Anna Bayeto Bendrick.
So is this aid here the registration card for my great-grandpa, Vincent?
Yes, this is a World War II registration card from 1942. He was age 55. It lists that he works at a dealership in Fulton County, and that he was born in Streator, Illinois, or lives in Streator, Illinois. And his notification of kin is Mrs. Anna Bendrick, who would be his wife, who is Anna Bayeto.
Very nice.
And then we have another. Actually, we'll go with Vincent's. We'll go with Ray's family. Ray's mother was Anna Bayeto. She was born in Italy, and her father, his father, Vincent Bendrick, was born in Bohemia, Czechoslovakia. And we go back another generation.
So that will answer where they did originate from, and
Okay.
it was Europe. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have asked that. Go ahead.
That's okay. We have a travel log from Hamburg, Germany from 1883
Oh, let me
when
see
the
this.
Bendrick line came from Bohemia, Czechoslovakia to Hamburg and then eventually landed in Streator, Illinois, the LaSalle area.
Very interesting. So what religious backgrounds did the family have?
The Bishop family had around 8 children. The Bendrick family had about 8 to 10 children. And the Bayeto
okay.
family had
The
8
family
to 10
sizes?
children.
Okay.
So they all had very large Roman Catholic families.
Okay.
Even though
that
they're from
would-
different
The
countries.
family size is correct.
Yes.
So that explains and answers the family size I was going to ask. And then back to the religious backgrounds?
Yes, all 3 families independently were Roman Catholic. One from Czechoslovakia, one from Italy, and we're not really sure with the Bishop line.
Interesting. And we're still Roman Catholic today.
Yes.
When did they come to the U.S.?
The original Bendricks, which was actually Bednarik, and the spelling changed once they arrived in the United States. They came in 1883 is the travel log on the Hamburg ship.
1883.
1883.
Very exciting.
And
Why do you think they came to the United States
well,
from Europe?
Wenzel Bendarek and his wife Katarina Vashta Bendarek from Bohemia, Czechoslovakia. He was a miner. It lists it in the travel log as occupation.
Oh, yes,
and
it
when they
does.
got to LaSalle, Illinois, which is a big mining community, about an hour away from Peoria, it lists him as a coal miner.
So
as
it
well.
sounds like he was coming here to have a better life for his family and
Yes.
himself.
For people of humble origins or lower incomes in Europe, if you weren't a specific trade, or even if you were a trade, there was more opportunity in the United States in the 1800s and early 1900s in America than Europe.
Very good. Thank you for tracing that back with me. Was there anything infamous or famous about either my mom's side or my dad's side you'd like to go over?
There is nothing famous, but there is infamous on your father's side, and I'm not sure of the first name, but the last name was Bishop.
And what was the incident?
Well, there is a family cousin, your father's cousin, or a second cousin, in the mid 1900s who was the last person in Peoria County and Illinois to be tarred and feathered.
Very interesting.
He was a gambler and had dealings with, different criminals and things like that led to his demise because he ultimately died.
I guess that definitely would rank as infamous and not famous.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. And like I said, Professor, we were going over with my mom's side as well, and she has some exciting things.
You mean your wife?
My wife's side. So what background is your family from?
My mom's side is 3 grandparents came from Ireland directly in the 1800s, and 1 grandparent came from Scotland, so those are pretty fresh to the United States. So my mom was 3/4 Irish and 1/4 Scotch. And then my father's line, the cruising line, came over from Winschoten, Netherlands, to America in the mid-1600s.
In the mid-1600s?
Around 1650.
So they were probably one of the first families or
Yes.
clan or
Yes.
tribes, because there
Well-
weren't too many, probably most likely in the 1600s.
Yes, they were wealthy landowners, and he worked. It was Gerrit Dirksen Cruzen, and he worked for the West Dutch Indies Company, and was actually one of just a few hundred settlers, part of a Dutch settlement near Brooklyn and Staten Island. And actually, he was one of the first land patent owners in Staten Island.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes.
So like we were saying, there's a lot of interesting facts we have on my wife's side that we're still kind of investigating, and it is very fun. And
He's also in the history books.
he's in the history
the
books.
cruising line, Kroesen, is in a lot of the New York State history books.
Okay. And to wrap up, do you have any nice memories about your family in the American Revolution?
Yes, I do. My 6th great-grandfather through the cruising line, and when it had various spellings. Brothers could be full-blooded brothers, but different spellings. This was John Cruzen, Kroesen. He lived in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and he served under Captain Henry Lott with the Bucks County, Pennsylvania militia, and is my patriot, and I'm a daughter of the American Revolution.
So that was another question I had. Are you a daughter of the American Revolution?
Yes, I am.
And will you be speaking at one of their events later on?
I am, and I'm actually speaking about the local history on the Underground Railroad with Peoria, Illinois history. But something, a note of interest with my patriot is he was also a slave owner. So it's a really bittersweet example of going back in the family line. Yes.
Sure. Well, thank you very much, Molly, for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure we'll talk later. Thank you.
Thanks.